So good morning, and Alfonso Guerreros, the responsible for international relations in USCA, the Spanish traffic controller unions. And with me, we have Helena Sjöström. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure that I'm not telling the name quite well, but I really did try to do it well. But anyway, and she is the president of the Professional Association of Swedish Air Traffic Controllers. She's quite experienced because she has been attending a lot of meetings, and she's now with us at the 53rd IFATCA annual conference. So during the last years, we have seen in Spain privatization in the service of air traffic control, mainly for towers, I mean only for towers. And we'd like to know the experience of other countries in this field. So for that, I'd like Helena to explain to us a little bit about how this has been done in the structure of provision of air navigation services in Sweden, and what is the extent of privatization so far.
Thank you. I certainly will. The market of air traffic control in Sweden is deregulated in the vicinity of airports and below flight level 95. And this has been now in use for the last 3 years. And it has meant quite a big change in how the air traffic control services are being assigned. So every airport owner or manager puts out a tender for ATC contract, and they can choose if it's 1 year or 2 years or 3 years and so on. And this has resulted in that the state provider, which is called LFV, now operates 25 towers. In the beginning, they had 35 towers, all controlled airports in Sweden. There is one airport in the north of Sweden, which is operated by the municipality of the town. They applied to the Swedish regulator to be clarified as a provider themselves, and they operate therefore their own air traffic control. There's also one privately owned company, Aviation Capacity Resources, and they currently operate 9 of the towers in Sweden. But so all towers and TMAs and control zones are open to the market as it stands now. Then what happened June last year, the Parliament announced its decision that the airports owned by the state, the civilian airports owned by the state, and the military airports, and also all those airports that the Swedish military said were very important to them, and also the joint terminal areas, which is what we call a terminal area that holds more than one airport. All these would be operated by the state provider. The Parliament announced that decision. In order for this to come into reality, though, the aviation law needs to be changed, which hasn't happened yet. We were expecting a proposition to the Parliament this spring to change the aviation law in that respect. But it hasn't happened, and for political reasons, we have elections coming up in this fall, which means that right now the situation is a bit unclear, which causes problems, of course, for the ANS providers, for the airport managers, and so on. So that's the situation right now. It's a bit foggy.
Yeah, actually, we can see that across Europe, we've seen in some countries where we have this process of privatization, but it is not done really in a straightforward way. I mean, we find that we are having some problems when implementing these kind of solutions. Now, another question that I'd like to ask you is another topic that is a hot topic, I think, right now, and is the remote towers. Remote towers, we can say that the idea, or maybe the first implementation, was done in the Nordic countries, and I think Sweden might be one of the most advanced countries in the implementation and becoming, or trying to become, this project to be a reality. Can you explain a little bit to us about how the state of the situation is in Sweden?
Certainly. This is a joint project between LFV, the state ANSP, Air Navigation Services provider, and the company Saab, that produces electronical equipment and also aircraft and cars. The process has meant so far that they have built a remote tower center in the northern part of Sweden in a town called Sundsvall. And through cameras that can be then posted at an airport, You can link the pictures and project them on a large number of screens in a almost circle around you, and creates the environment of a tower even though you're not at the airport. Currently, the validation is ongoing by the Swedish regulator to validate this system on a one-on-one basis, meaning that one controller in one remote tower center will operate one airport only, so only one-on-one. And this is currently undergoing validation, and it is expected that later in the year it will actually be up and running.
Okay, great. One of the things that probably everybody should know is that you might have technology for something, but that doesn't mean that technology might be immediately applied, because you have to see what are the procedures to follow. For example, what she was saying about one controller, one airport. I mean, you have to see it, because there is a tendency to try to have several airports for the same controller, but that is not safe. And that's something she was saying about validation. We have to validate the system, and the air traffic controllers are involved, or we try to be involved in this validation just to make sure that the system is safe. So I'd like to thank you very much for your time and for your words, and I hope that we can finish the conference. Everything will be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.